Hi, I'm JC with Bushcraft, and welcome to today's video. Today I'd like to show you 5 winter survival bushcraft hacks. Come along with me. So for the first hack, I want to talk about how you could use a mosquito head net to melt snow into a container that you can then drink. What's good about this hack is that not only will the snow melt and give you drinkable water, the mosquito head net will also act as a filter of sorts and filter out any particles you might find inside the snow. And there's usually a lot. You can see here there's just junk in there. So this is the setup. You see there's the fire, the mosquito head net, and a cup, in this case a kuksa. And you don't want a very roaring fire because you don't want to melt your mosquito head net. But as you can see, the heat from the fire is causing some of the snow to melt, and that's slowly going to fill up this cup. So it's been about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes since I started, and you can see it's quite a bit of water. There's a little bit of junk in there, but that's from the fire. But this is a pretty good way of getting pretty clean water. For this next hack, we're going to use some salt to prevent the water that we gathered from the head net to freeze. Now, the main purpose is to keep it from freezing, because in winter obviously it gets cold. So using just a little bit of salt can really help prevent the water from freezing. But furthermore, it'll help your body retain a little bit of the water that you drink, which is important. And adding just a little bit of salt, like a pinch, won't affect the water, as in like the flavor. So for this next hack, we're going to talk about how you could turn your knife sheath into a dangler system so that it's not caught underneath all your layers during the winter. It'll get really annoying really fast to have to lift all your layers just to get your cutting tool. So the easiest thing to do is to take that sheath and just clip it onto a loop that you made out of cordage. So this effectively turns your knife sheath into a dangler system and will really help to access your cutting tool, because it'll be on the outside of your jacket. You won't have to lift layers, you won't have to do anything, it'll be right there at the ready. Now something else that you could do is some people will choose to wear it around their necks, sort of here, like this. And although that's okay, in my case, my neck already got caught on a branch because I was wearing it as a neck knife. So I stopped that pretty fast. And while I'm on that topic, a little thing about moras that not many people know is what this little clip, why does it have these holes? And it's actually made for buttons. As you can see, there's a button shirt, and it's meant to dangle like that off a button. So if you have a Mora sheath and you have a button-up vest, then you could just use it like so to keep your knife on the outside. For hack number 4, it's going to be about detecting the moisture in wood and how that's done in the winter. So in the winter, when everything's cold, so your hands and wood, all of it's cold, you're going to have a really hard time detecting if the inside of it is dry or wet. So how you discover if it's wet is by detecting the moisture with your lips, because the lips are a lot better at detecting the moisture than the hands. So you just put your lips against the inside of the wood that you suspect is dry. And if by rubbing your lips together they're sticking and they're moist, that's because the inside of the wood is moist. In this case, it's bone dry, so it's perfect. Another very simple way to tell if the wood is dry, just by hitting it, you can hear that this is very dry. Alright, for the final hack, it's going to be about filling up your socks with cattail fluff to keep them warm. Now cattail, I've done this many times before because it gets pretty cold in the winter. If you've never felt it before on your feet, I would say it feels a little bit like a mixture between fleece and wool. It gets pretty warm. So we're just going to fluff up some cattail like this. We're just going to take it off like this. It's very, well, it's called fluff for a reason. It's very, very fluffy, very, very comfortable in my opinion. It's like having really poofy socks. So you're just going to take a bunch. Now, I will say, however, it is kind of a nightmare to clean sometimes, but if you're very cold in an actual situation, then packing your socks with this stuff is a good idea. So now, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to take my sock, I'm going to turn it inside out with the fluff in it like this. And just shake it up in there. Yeah, that's good to go. It'll just provide a good base, and if you wiggle your feet in there, it will sort of wrap around your toes. Okay, now that it's in there, move them around, get them all over there. Instantly, it's instant warmth. Now you could put as much as you want. This is actually just providing a good base on my feet, like on the bottom, and I'm making sure that the concentration is on my toes. So as you can see, this isn't where my big toe ends. Over here, it's actually more down here. So all this is fluff. And it's instantly, I mean, I'm not wearing my boot yet, and it's pretty warm. Now you just put it back in your boot. And away you go. You've got some good warmth. You can put as much as you want. Something I would also recommend, if you can plan ahead for this kind of stuff, you would have foot wraps, and you could put this in your foot wraps and then wrap your foot with all the fluff, and it'll be even warmer. Now that was just all the fluff from one, and not even all of it went in my foot, like in my sock. So I have two more. If I used all of it, I would get a really good, huge bundle that would be very comfortable. And right now I gotta tell you, I like the feeling of fluff. It's like fleece. I bunched it up just right so that there's not big clumps underneath and it's not uncomfortable in any way. So in a situation where your feet are getting frostbitten, this is a good little hack. But also I use this when I go camping overnight. One time I forgot an extra pair of socks, so I just put a little bit of fluff in my socks when I went to bed, and it helped keep my feet warm. So, yeah. Just for a bonus tip, it is a hack, it is a tip that you can pee in a bottle and keep it close to your body at night to keep you warm. But don't make the mistake of using that bottle to drink from in the morning when you wake up. The most famous of all hacks in the woods, made famous by, I think it was Man vs. Wild. Don't drink your pee. Don't do it. Scientifically, you could do it once without getting sick, but if you re-drink that same exact pee, you're gonna get very sick. So you're in a survival situation, you definitely don't want to drink your pee. So just don't do it. So this has been JC with Ignis Bushcraft. I hope you found these hacks useful, and let me know in the comments if you've ever used any of these, or if you plan on using any of them, or if you have, how did that turn out for you? Have a good day. I'll see you next time.